Hello everyone. On this channel, I feel that information about what is happening in China is often not correctly conveyed to countries other than China, so I will be disseminating the information I have gathered in English. I'm getting information from multiple media, so I'd be happy if you could comment on the content of the video. Also, my native language is not English, so I use an AI speaker to create the voice to convey the information correctly. If you like it, please subscribe to the channel and support us. This time, I would like to talk about the US-China trade volume reaching its highest level in 4 years. The all-time high talk is about last year's trade volume, and the year isn't over yet, so I don't know the specific numbers. However, last year was an opaque situation due to the impact of the new coronavirus. Despite this, the United States continues to import from foreign countries, and the amount of trade with China has increased slightly, setting a record high in total. From an economic point of view, the relationship between the United States and China is very strong and is called coupling. An export from China does not necessarily mean a Chinese company. It is a well-known fact that there are many Taiwanese companies in particular. This time, I would like to introduce the situation in terms of numbers, and also take up the prominent parts of the current US-China trade. I will explain based on the attached materials of Jetro's business brief on February 16, 2023. We will look at exports from China to the United States on a value basis. The first place is phones and other equipment, but the important part is probably smartphones and their accessories. Apple products are manufactured by Taiwanese manufacturers, and the factories that make the main body are mainly located in China. Currently, there are moves to disperse factories outside of China, but due to the large scale of factories in China, it is not possible to relocate everything immediately. Therefore, even if there are many exports from China to the United States, the profits do not necessarily flow to Chinese companies. Profits are also returned to Apple and the manufacturer of the main unit. This structure can be said to be a typical form of China trade, not only for the iPhone and other Apple products. Namely, because a lot of investments are made in China, it is costly to move them to other countries. Therefore, if the US-China relationship cools down, there is a possibility that companies with factories in China will shift to countries other than China, can be considered for further investment. The Chinese Communist Party would like to repair relations with the United States at some point. On the other hand, I think that the US side also has a speculation that they do not want to waste the amount they have invested in China. However, if only corporate profits are considered, the security of the United States may be threatened. Therefore, given the profits made so far, some would argue that they should diversify beyond China. Therefore, it is possible that the clampdown on China will continue. Considering the current situation, it is natural that China has a sense of crisis. On the other hand, from the US side, it is economically difficult to completely cut off China. Because the scale of production in China is too large, we cannot move production bases to countries other than China immediately. There is talk that the United States is tightening China, but the amount of exports is still thriving. However, not only Chinese companies are profitable, but there is also a structure in which an American company places an order with a Taiwanese company, and the Taiwanese company exports the products produced in China to the United States. American and Taiwanese companies are also involved, and their interests can influence American politics. So the issue is not simple, and it is not a one-sided story that profits are flowing only to China. There is a structure in which China does not earn much compared to the amount of trade. Another feature is the year-on-year growth rate. Some items are negative, but some of them are growing as much as 98.8%. It's a battery. This shows outstanding growth compared to other items. Other items have fallen by more than 10%, but only storage batteries have grown by about 100%. This is related to electric vehicles, and with the increasing shift to EVs, accumulator batteries are a key factor. If China continues to dominate the battery market, it will need to buy batteries from China to build electric vehicles. There may be voices questioning this situation. There is also the opinion that the very structure of having to buy batteries from China to make an electric car is dangerous. Therefore, there is a possibility that the movement to procure batteries from places other than China will accelerate. There is also talk of renewed interest in hydrogen. This time we will talk again about taking the battery factory to a place other than China. In the electric car world, Tesla is also strong in China. There are Chinese manufacturers, but the real intention of the Chinese is that they want to buy a Tesla rather than a Chinese car. There is a fact that even Chinese people look down on Chinese products a bit. In all areas of China, the Chinese themselves believe that Chinese companies cannot be trusted for maintenance and aftercare. The development of electric cars is greatly influenced by Tesla. And Elon Musk, CEO of Tesla, has shown a positive attitude towards China. Recently, he has said that if the Chinese Communist Party decides to do something, he will definitely do it. That means the Communist Party could do things like crush Tesla if it wanted to. However, Zuckerberg's service cannot be used in China, even if Zuckerberg jogged in the polluted Beijing and did China praise activities. No matter how much you support the Communist Party will only move on its own terms. As a result, it will be embarrassing to be coldly treated by the Communist Party, so I think it is better to quit activities that praise the Communist Party. Elon Musk is active in praising the Communist Party, but in his heart, he probably thinks it's dangerous. After all, what Americans think of China is also very important. China is a communist bloc like the former Soviet Union, and there is an increasing number of people who believe that China is not a partner with which they can coexist and co-prosper. If this spreads, the thinking of Americans will also be reflected in politics. So, I don't know what will happen to the relationship between the United States and China, but we have invested heavily in China, and we are selling Chinese-made Teslas to the world. For now, I don't want to deteriorate relations with the Communist Party, but the risks are too great, and we need to build huge production bases outside of China. We are building a huge factory in Mexico. Even if the electric car is produced in Mexico, as long as the battery is purchased from China, it is not a risk hedge. Therefore, the movement to produce batteries, which are the engine parts of electric vehicles, in Mexico is attracting attention. By the way, Elon Musk seems to be suggesting that his partner companies in China build factories in Mexico and sell them, but I wonder if this makes sense. Even if the company manufactures in Mexico, if the company producing it is a Chinese company, it is considered that the company is under the influence of the Communist Party. If the US-China relationship deteriorates in earnest, it means that Tesla cannot be relieved even if it is produced in Mexico. If you want to reduce China's political risk, unless you create a system to have batteries supplied by manufacturers in another country, Tesla and the Chinese Communist Party will end up sharing the same fate. That's all for now. See you next time.